Hello. We're going to be searching a target area in the basic sense that everybody can do. We're looking at the area around Summer Wells property. Here you can see their house, and we've gone back a few years to 2012 to show you what's underneath the canopy. Currently, you're looking at the swath that is there presently that's been cut away, and I suspect that's the path that she took. Going back to 2012, so we can see underneath the canopy. This is what's normally done in a preliminary search when somebody is missing. This should have been done in the very beginning, and I don't understand why it wasn't. I'm showing you the elevation and where the house is located in comparison to the mountains. This view is going to show you some roads and some paths, and it's going to concentrate on a mile marker. Normally it would be a 5-mile marker, but law enforcement recently did a search up to a mile. So this is marked with 1/4 of a mile and 1/8 of a mile respectively. You can see the road here and a creek that runs all along the front. If Summer left her property and went down that swath that's been cleared and went down to the creek where I think the kids normally played, that creek runs all the way along the highway. We can see the elevation as we go, and we can also see some of the paths that we're going to concentrate on here in a little bit. Some of the paths seem to be also tributaries for when water runs downhill. I'm specifically not naming any owners of the properties because that's taboo, but as you can see, there's not very many. Now, this video is based on data from 10 years ago, so there may be houses that are there now and some may be missing, but we're just going to take a look-see and look at a search area as if we're going to search it. I hear that there's some searches coming up, so I advise them to do the same. As I zoom in, you can see some ATV paths and maybe some truck paths, and they are all within these mountains everywhere. To search any of these areas, all you have to do is go look up the property owners at the county seat, or you can visit with neighbors, find out who owns adjacent properties. You can also go to law enforcement and let them know what you're doing. I would not advise anybody to search these areas without proper equipment because your cell phone isn't going to work. You would probably have to bring a weapon since there is wildlife out there. So let's see what we're looking at. I can see here that there's some paths. There's that creek there that runs in front of the property all along the front. And off of that are some tributaries. Some of those tributaries have been used as paths also, as you'll see later. Here we can see a little mountain. Now, if Summer had gotten out there and got lost, she would go to the top. And the reason is because she knew that she had to go down when she left the yard to get to the creek. So if she's turned around, anytime she sees a hill, she'll probably climb up it thinking that might be home. You can still see the creek running all along the front, and you can see one of the tributaries right there. I know where the footprints are, but I'm not going to point them out in this video because those people that own that property don't want that information known, but I can tell you it's in this targeted area that I've concentrated on. I believe that's a 1/2 mile mark right there, and we can see the first road that leads over, that courses through the mountains there, and that's the dead end right there that the sheriff said doesn't go through. It probably has something across it, but certainly if it's just a chain or a bar, somebody could have taken that down to drive out. In the event that she was abducted, that would have been another route out. I'm going to concentrate if she was on foot, which I think she was. And even if she wasn't, this entire area needed to be looked at first and ruled out. We can see that this road here goes back pretty far. Now this is 10 years old, so we don't know what's back there now, but it looks like there's some vehicles and an old building back there. And incidentally, I've found buildings all throughout these mountains, little shacks and cabins. They may not be there still, but they also could be a place that if she came upon them, she would have went in. In the event there was an abductor, any one of these places could be a place where a person would hunker down. This is actually someone's backyard, this long green piece of, it looks like mowed grass. We go to the end of it to see if there's anything at the end. And this is just a rudimentary first glance at the area. This is Google Pro, and anybody has access to this. And if you're going to search, this is a must-do, just so you see where you're going. It's also a way, if you print it out, that you can do mark-offs of the areas that have already been searched. Otherwise, you're blindly just wandering around out there and are taking a risk of getting lost yourself or missing a crucial area. Now, I've changed the camera to do a bird's eye view so we can look down more. And I'm just looking here to see if there's a path that goes from the end of that up to that road, and it does look like there's an old one there. Now we're going to look at the road that goes right past the Wells property, and it goes back up into the mountains. It looks like it's more of a well-traveled road. And as we zoom in, we can see that there's some buildings back there. And that one looks like an ATV access road that goes up. This goes back and it winds all through. If people say you can't get back there, you're going to see that there's actually a mobile home that's been moved back into one of the valleys of these mountains, so they are very accessible. I've coordinated searches in the past just by using the internet to help families from many states away. We've done grids and we've done flyers, and we focus on, I focus on helping families that don't have any resources, and their cases have become cold, and there is nobody helping, and the sheriffs will not release dogs. There are people now that have dogs, and they are willing to help areas of interest for families. All you have to do is do a search. If you can't find one, reach out to me and I'll find a dog for you. You can also coordinate searches for small groups, and by using a grid pattern and drones, we can target areas and see what we can find. There's that trailer that's out there in the middle of nowhere. You can see that there's a little creek that runs up through there, and it's actually a path. Goes up over the top of that mountain, and then you're going to see another highway on the other side. At this point for summer, in the event that she's out there, it's not a search and rescue anymore, it's a search and recovery, and I hate to even say that. At this point, I hope that somebody has her. Searches at this point are probably recoveries. We can see from the other highway that some of these roads go pretty far back, and those are landowners back there. A simple knock on the door, and they would probably let you search. Or they can tell you that they've already searched. If you bring a map, you can mark on the map and have them help you, show you what areas have already been searched. Then you can mark the areas of interest and coordinate future searches. Incidentally, in my research about lost children, a child that's 5 years old can make it 5 miles in just a few days. To think that she couldn't make it very far barefoot is not correct. Children are very resilient. And many children have been recovered well outside the target area. Some of them circle back, of course everybody knows this, and they end up back in places that have already been searched, and that's why law enforcement researched those areas the last time. Here we're back to the road that goes back up towards the Wells house, and we're just taking another look. It's sad to say that so much attention has been spent with people on YouTube spreading rumors and talking about one another. That I just don't understand why so much focus has gone on that, other than just trying to make a few bucks off of a tragedy. This should have already been done. If everybody had taken the energy that they put towards talking about one another and donated to a search group that doesn't have the proper radios or search equipment, legitimate search groups could have been searching this whole area, and they could have done it early on. It would have really made a difference. Even if a person isn't found, at least it's a door that's closed and you know that you have to look somewhere else. And I know that law enforcement and search groups and Texas EquiSearch excuse me, have searched. I think those areas that have been cleared should be told. At least that way people would know where to keep searching. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video and getting an inside look at what it looks like there. Which brings me to the reason for this video. How can I express to you the extreme emotional state of the loved ones searching for their missing family member, especially if it's a child of any age? I want you to think of your worst day, one of which you were extremely afraid, exhausted, worried, so much so that you haven't even eaten and have to be reminded to drink water. And even if you find yourself happy or laughing in the moment, it is swept away by guilt. If I had only, if I hadn't, if they hadn't. Now shifting to others. This is where the family breaks down, where children or mates are left to fend for themselves because you just don't have the energy. And after all, how can I laugh when my loved one is lost? Are they hurt? Lost? Does someone have them? Are they calling for me? If only. Focusing on the Wells family the way that everybody has is the cruelest thing I think I have ever seen in my life. I don't know if it's the sign of the times with YouTube or with people. I just don't understand it. I can't express to you how it makes moral, ethical people sick to sit and watch that. I have commented on YouTube trying to bring people out of their frenzied ways of attacking people, and it's made no difference. I've gotten blocked or ignored. I hope that you reach out to other people who are bullying and implore them to stop. No one should be making money off of being a bully, and you shouldn't be making money off of being a hero either. You can search for free. You can care about people for free. If you have an expertise that you want to share that's truly going to make a difference, go for that instead. Because joining up with one of these Facebook groups To hurt a family that's missing is absolutely disgusting.